Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Shalom. I'm David Mensa, Israeli government spokesman. It's Monday, the 1st of July, day 269 of the October 7th war. A short update from me and then to your questions. On the hostage issues, look, today we here in Israel, more than 1.5 million Israeli kids finish school and the summer begins. Not, unfortunately, for the 120 hostages, though. Among them, children, women, and the elderly. Almost 9 months. Last week, I reminded you about child hostages, Kfir Bibas and Ariel Bibas, brothers. Today, I want to remind you that their mother, Shiri Bibas, aged only 32, is also a hostage. Are they together? Please look at her, say her name, Shiri Bibas, 269 days, an innocent family, hostages, in the hands of a death cult. As the Prime Minister made clear yesterday, we will not rest until all 120 are brought home, Hamas are eliminated together with their terrorist threat to Israel. We will return our residents securely to their homes in the south and the north. Now, sad news of IDF casualties, 670 since the start of the war. Sergeant Eyal Shaines was just 19 years old and from Kibbutz Afik near the Sea of Galilee. He was killed in battle in southern Gaza. Sergeant First Class in the Reserves Yakir Shmuel Teitelbaum was just 21 years old from Ma'ale Adumim, just outside Jerusalem. He too fell in battle in northern Gaza. Staff Sergeant Yair Avitan was just 20, and from Ra'anana, he too was killed in battle in northern Gaza. The Prime Minister said yesterday at the start of the weekly cabinet meeting, quote, "I send condolences to the dear families of our heroic fighters who fell in combat in Gaza and in Judea and Samaria in the past week. We embrace the bereaved families in their most difficult hour. We are committed to the testament of the fallen to continue to absolute victory over Hamas," end quote. Our fallen soldiers are and remain heroes in our hearts. We say thank you to these soldiers and to their families for their tremendous sacrifice, and we honor what they stood for. May the memories of our fallen heroes be a blessing forever. Next to Gaza, just this morning, around 20 projectiles were fired from Khan Yunis. Some were intercepted and some fell inside Israel. The IDF struck the sources of the fire. Look, Hamas are not yet finished. As the Prime Minister said, our forces are operating in Rafah, Shajaya, everywhere in the Gaza Strip. Dozens of terrorists are being eliminated every day. This is a difficult fight that is being waged above ground, sometimes in hand-to-hand combat, above and below ground, end quote. Now, an update from Kogat and their work coordinating aid into Gaza over the last 24 hours. 311 trucks carrying humanitarian aid goods went in yesterday, 273 via Kerem Shalom and 38 via the Erez crossing. That means that more than 5,000 trucks went in June alone. Only 110 aid trucks were collected by United Nations agencies and the private sector, again showing the hapless and hopeless nature, the hopelessly inefficient nature of these United Nations agencies. 1,200 aid trucks is still awaiting to be collected from the Gazan side of Kerem Shalom. Also, 6 fuel and 6 gas tankers for essential infrastructure went in. Since the beginning of this war, over 38,200 trucks have delivered over 716,000 tons of aid. That's 80% more food compared to prior to October 7th. So that's the end of our briefing today. I will now take your questions, which you should put in the chat together with your news outlet. Thank you very much. First question here from Joel Pollack at Breitbart News. Can you kindly respond to the message of anti-Israel groups at gay pride parades in New York and San Francisco who say that LGBTQ liberation includes a free Palestine? Thank you for that question, Joel. I've seen these sorts of displays, Queers for Palestine and the like, which reminds me of turkeys for Christmas or chickens for KFC. Absolutely ridiculous. Hamas are a genocidal Islamic fascist organization. Anyone with the slightest idea about geopolitics or any common knowledge would know that the first people they'll come for are anyone that does not subscribe to their Sharia lifestyle. So it's clear that that's an absolutely useless, ridiculous stand to be taking. This country is extremely proud of the way in which it conducts itself when it comes to the rights of all the people living here in Israel. It's a badge we wear with pride, not just once a year, but 365 days a year. And that freedom which exists in this country are precisely why Hamas fight against us. They hate our freedom. They hate our democracy. They hate our way of life. They hate our open media. They hate the freedoms which exist to practice your religion safely, whatever your religion here in Israel. They hate all of those things, which is why they're fighting against us. It's an Islamic fascist type organization. People need to educate themselves, for heaven's sake. Next question from Joel Pollock. Why was the head of Shifa Hospital released if he ran an institution infiltrated by terrorists? Let me answer that question, Joel. Thank you very much. On the prisoner release issue, our office here, the Prime Minister's office, released the following statement, which I can share with you. The decision to release the prisoners followed discussions at the High Court in a petition against the detention of prisoners in the Sde Teiman detention facility. The identity of the released prisoners is determined independently by the security officials based on their professional considerations. That said, the Prime Minister ordered an immediate inquiry into the matter. End quote. Next question here is from Jim Williams of Zenga News. Will Israel be sending an Olympic team to France? And if so, will they have a security detail with them? Thank you very much for that question, Jim. I can't comment specifically about the security detail with Israel's Olympic team, but yes, of course, my latest knowledge is, of course, Israel will be sending an Olympic team to France for the Olympic Games. We remember all too well the Munich Olympics, where our athletes were brutally murdered by Islamic terrorists. The threat, unfortunately, against Israel is very, very real, and Israel will, of course, take all the necessary precautions to protect all of our people, and specifically our Olympic athletes. Okay, any other questions? No, that was the last question. So in the meantime, my friends, do please stay safe. Thank you for joining us. We'll have another briefing this time tomorrow. And in the meantime, please do stay safe, and thank you very much. Bye-bye now.